First up on the show, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has urged Israel to maximize quote-unquote every possible means to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. Speaking before his meeting with the Qatari Prime Minister, the top U.S. diplomat even added that the current situation in the besieged enclave was unacceptable and unsustainable as well. Blinken's comments come just a day after scores of Palestinians were killed and injured during an outbreak of violence in which Israeli troops opened fire near a besieged convoy of aid trucks. And even though Qatar has played a key role in mediating between the two countries, between Hamas and Israel over the hostage release and a ceasefire, Blinken emphasized that the opportunity to achieve a ceasefire was on the Palestinian militant group.
We have an opportunity for an immediate ceasefire that can bring hostages home, that can dramatically increase the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Palestinians who so desperately need it, and can also set the conditions for an enduring resolution. And it is on Hamas to make decisions about whether it is prepared to engage in that ceasefire.
Famine is now looming over the besieged Gaza Strip as aid supplies have dwindled to barely a trickle over the past month. Whole swaths of the territory are completely cut off from food, and Gaza's few functioning hospitals, which are already overwhelmed by the wounded, are now filling with children starving to death. Now, the US and Jordan have resorted to using airdrops of assistance, which experts view as inefficient and ineffective way to distribute aid compared to land crossings. The US Central Command in a statement said it combined with the Royal Jordanian Armed Forces for a second airdrop on Tuesday and released more than 36,000 meal equivalents in northern Gaza, an area of great need, it said. Meanwhile, negotiations aimed at brokering a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war appear to have stalled again, days before an unofficial deadline of the beginning of Ramadan. 2 days of talks between Hamas and the international mediators broke down in the Egyptian capital, Cairo, without any significant breakthrough, said the Palestinian officials, after Israel declined to send a delegation to the latest round of negotiations. Now, Egyptian and Qatari mediators over the last 2 days have put pressure on Hamas to produce a list of hostages to be released as the first step in a phased ceasefire agreement with Israel. While Hamas demanded that large-scale humanitarian aid should be allowed into Gaza and that Palestinians displaced from their homes in the north of the coastal territory are allowed to return home. To which diplomatic sources in Washington said that it was unclear what was stopping the Palestinian militant group from producing a list of identifying the first batch of hostages, noting that similar uncertainties ended up collapsing the last successful truce in November after a week. Israel's offensive has killed more than 30,000 people, displaced 85% of the 2.3 million population from their homes. Adding to that, Gaza's health ministry and the UN also stated that more than half of the Gaza Strip infrastructure is now in ruins. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.